we're back and we are continuing the UFC fight card Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov. Let's get right into it, but before we do, remember this Saturday is the live watch party for this fight card, so let's get right into it right now. Vinicius Oliveira is 21-3. His country's Brazil. He stands at 5'9" tall. He weighed in at 135 pounds, and his last win has a reach of 70.5 inches and a leg reach of 39 inches. While Nurmagomedov, on the other hand, has a record of 18-3. His country's Russia. He stands at 5'8" tall. He weighed in at 142 pounds 30 in his last win, has a reach of 70 inches and a leg reach of 38.5 inches. Vinicius has a 0.5 inch reach advantage, a 0.5 inch leg reach advantage, and a 1 inch height advantage. He also has a few more wins over Nurmagomedov, but they both have the same losses. Now, Vinicius should definitely keep it on the feet, use his range and strike. The range is so close that if Nurmagomedov can push Vinicius back, it's going to be very easy for Said to get them takedowns, to get on the inside, go for them takedowns and get the takedown. Vinicius needs to put Said on the back foot, make a statement, hurt him early so that Said respects him and stays on the back foot a little bit. But Vinicius needs to make sure he shows Said no respect. Said, he needs to make sure that Vinicius shows respect, so he's going to have to put out something quick and early to force Vinicius back. Now, Vinicius has power. Said still has power, but Vinicius has knockout power. Said also has knockout power, but not he don't have as many knockouts. So Said needs to push Vinicius back to get them takedowns, to find the angles, to create an angle to be able to get them takedowns. Vinicius, on the other hand, has to force Said back to make it difficult to get the takedowns so that he can scuff them and get out of the positions so that he can keep it on the feet. But let's move on to win buys to see how they've got it done in their previous fights. Nurmagomedov has a 22% KO TKO, 33% submission, and a decision of 44%, with an average fight time seen at 8 minutes and a knockdown average of 0. While Vinicius Oliveira, on the other hand, has a 76% KO TKO, 10% submission, 14% decision, with an average fight time seen at 11 minutes and a knockdown average of 1. Again, it comes back to my point about the first stats. Vinicius, yes, he's got a 0.5 inch reach advantage. It's nothing in this. It's absolutely nothing. You can't calculate the distance of 0.5 inches while you're in there. You have to take a chance. Now, if Said is coming out of southpaw while Oliveira is coming out of orthodox, it's a foot battle. It is a foot battle and forcing them back. If you can force them back and win the foot battle, you're probably going to win the fight. But if you're in the same stance, orthodox versus orthodox or southpaw versus southpaw, you just have to push them back. It's a lot more difficult for you in that way because you don't have that foot battle where if you land your right hand, they're going to probably just about miss. It's going to be a very difficult fight for Oliveira, in my opinion, if they're both fighting out of the same stance, because Said is just going to probably walk you down if you're not using your range and using your power. But that's also another thing. It's, can Oliveira use his power early, start off his game plan earlier than Magomedov? Because as soon as Magomedov starts, it's going to be over, because Magomedov's dangerous, especially if he can cut down that range quick, especially if he can get on the inside quick, because then you're 1 minute you're like, yeah, I'm up, and then next minute you're down. Now, yes, we did see Merab versus Nurmagomedov weekend before last, and we saw how that played out. Merab has good grappling though, that's the difference. How good is Vinicius' grappling compared to Said? We're going to find out in this fight, and I'm excited to see. And we're also going to see if Oliveira can stuff all of Said's takedowns, and not only that, his game plan going into this one. But let's move on to significant strikes to see who could benefit better. Vinicius Oliveira had landed an average of 6 punches per minute, 43% significant strikes, an average of 3 punches absorbed per minute, with a defense of 53%. While Nurmagomedov, on the other hand, had an average of 4 punches landed per minute, 47% significant strikes, an average of 2 punches absorbed per minute, and a defense of 57%. Based off that, Oliveira landed per minute, good. Absorbed per minute, good. Defense, it's okay. You absorbed, your defense was over half, which is good, but it's too close to being at half that it's not perfect. It's not great. I mean, it's never going to be perfect, but it's not great either. Your significant strike percentage, though, is kind of where it falls off a bit. Those landed per minute is great. You've output quite a lot. You don't want to land as many significant strikes if you're just throwing, because if you start throwing bombs and hammers, you're going to tire yourself out a lot quicker, especially if you're on the back foot and you're swinging. You're just going to gas out very quick. And if you're moving forward, it's the same thing. Moving forward, throwing hammers, you're going to get a lot tired. It's the fact that Said had landed less and had a little bit of a better significant strike percentage Now, yes, Said Nurmagomedov didn't output as much. I don't think he outputted as much, at least. So he could throw a little bit harder and heavier because he isn't strictly striking. He's mixing it up a bit, striking a bit so he can get on the inside, get the grappling, so he can get on the front foot, get the takedowns, get the grappling. I think on the feet, it's quite obvious who's going to win. Vinicius Oliveira, but he has to keep it on the feet. He can't let Said take control, do something spectacular on the feet, and then get it down. Because if he does that, it's over. If Vinicius Oliveira gets taken down in the first 10 seconds, it's over. Not that it can't get back up and he can't do things there. Also, Vinicius Oliveira's submission percentage was poor in his previous. It's just poor. It's going to be a very difficult fight for him if he gets taken down. I think he'll get stopped if he gets taken down. But I do think Said's going to have to work quite hard on the feet because I think Vinicius will push him back. I feel like Vinicius has to push him back. I feel like the only way for Vinicius to win, push him back. And I think that is his game plan going into this. Push him back, force him on the back foot. Don't let him get up against the fence. Try and hold him in the center, but don't let him come forwards. Make sure you push him back. What I think Said needs to do is definitely use head movement. He has to move his head. He's got to use his kicks to cut down the range. He's got to use his striking to feint. Make sure that Oliveira doesn't see what's coming. Feint the takedowns. He's got to feint a lot. Mainly feinting, head movement, and kicks is what I'd say from Said Nurmagomedov to get the takedowns. Vinicius Oliveira, use his jab. Yes, he hasn't really got a range. Use his jab just to assert dominance, to force Said back, and then occasionally feint the right hand and throw the right hand. Not always, don't just stick with that combination, 1-2. Mix it up a bit. You don't want to be predictable. As soon as you become predictable, he's going to be able to get on the inside and take down so quick. Vinicius needs to mix it up with combination. Has to be a combination. It can't be a one single shot. If he's doing a single shot, he has to move. He has to throw, move, create an angle. You can't stay on the same line because if you stay on the same line, you're going to go back eventually and he's going to clock that. And eventually when you cut an angle and you move back, he's going to be like, okay, he's just going to move back and he'll go for the takedown. So Vinicius Oliveira needs to be very careful with that. But let's move on to the grappling to see if it does go down, who could perform better based off their previous fight. Said Nurmagomedov had an average of 1 takedown, 16% takedown accuracy, 66% takedown defense with a submission average of 1, while Vinicius Oliveira on the other hand had an average of 1 takedown, 60% takedown accuracy, and 68% takedown defense with a submission average of 0. According to Vinicius' previous fight, he did very well in the grappling. He did very well. He got takedowns. He got over half of his takedowns, way over half, and he had way over half of the takedown defense. But Said didn't get many takedowns. He had a great takedown defense percentage, which is good. I don't think he's going to need to use it as much. I still think he'll need to use it, but I don't think he'll need to use it as much. Vinicius, I expect him to, yes, attempt some takedowns, but in my opinion, try and avoid it as best as you can. But his takedown defense is very impressive. Now, against Said didn't get many takedowns, so maybe Oliveira's takedown defense can translate into this, where Oliveira doesn't get taken down as much and it's quite easy for him to stay on the feet, which would be a big plus in his favor. Do I think Vinicius will go for a takedown? I'm gonna say yeah. I think Vinicius will go for a takedown or two, and I think Said, his game plan will be going for takedowns. Take him down, earn the respect down there. Vinicius is gonna try and earn respect on the feet. How do I think this fight plays out? I think how it plays out is Vinicius is gonna start his game strong. I think he's going to start strong, and I think Said's going to slowly work his way into the fight. If this fight isn't over in round 1, I think Said's going to start coming on stronger and stronger as the fight goes on. And I think it's going to get a lot more tough for Vinicius as he starts to gas. And if Said can get him down once, Vinicius is going to get back up. And I think it's just going to be a loop of him going down, getting up, which is going to gas him out. Eventually, Said will stop him in the later rounds. But I think Vinicius will stop Said in the early rounds. If it is a stoppage, if it goes to a decision, if it stays on the feet, Vinicius will win if it goes to the ground. And I believe that Said will come on later in the rounds. I think Said probably gets a decision win. If not, a stoppage will come from one of either guys. But that's just my thoughts and my opinions and my predictions. But what do you guys think? Who do you think wins and how do you think win? Apart from that, I'll catch you in a bit. Take care and peace.